To remake myself and remake you, I return to my state of garden and shadow, cool reality. I barely exist, and if I exist, it's with delicate caution. Around the shadow is a heat of abundant sweat. I'm alive, but I feel that I have yet to reach my limits. Borders with what? Without borders, the adventure of dangerous freedom. But I take risks. I live taking risks. I'm full of acacias, swaying yellow, and I, who have barely started my journey, I start it with a sense of tragedy, guessing toward which lost ocean my steps of life are leading. And madly I take control of the recesses of myself. My ravings suffocate me with so much beauty. I am before. I am almost. I am never. And all of this I won when I stopped loving you. I write to you as an exercise in sketching before painting. I see words. What I say is pure present, and this book is a straight line in space. It's always current, and a camera's photometer opens and immediately closes, but keeping within it the flash. Even if I say, I lived, or I shall live, it's present, because I'm saying them now. I also started these pages with the goal of preparing myself for painting, but now I'm overwhelmed by the taste of words, and almost free myself from the dominion of paint. I feel a voluptuousness in going along creating something to tell you. I'm living the initiation ceremony of the word, and my gestures are hieratic and triangular. Yes, this is life seen by life. But suddenly I forget how to capture whatever is happening. I don't know how to capture whatever exists, except by living here each thing that arises, and no matter what it is. I am almost free of my errors. I let the free horse run fiery. I, who trot nervously, and only reality delimits me. And when the day reaches its end, I hear the crickets and become entirely replete and unintelligible. Then I live the blue daybreak that comes with its bulge full of little birds. I wonder if I'm giving you an idea of what a person goes through in life. And everything that occurs to me, I note to pin it down. For I want to feel in my hands the quivering and lively nerve of the now, and may that nerve resist me like a restless vein. And may it rebel, that nerve of life, and may it contort and throb, and may sapphires, amethysts, and emeralds spill into the dark eroticism of abundant life, because in my darkness quakes at last the great topaz, word that has its own light. I am now listening to a sylvan music, almost just drumming and rhythm that comes from a neighboring house where young junkies live the present. Another instant of incessant rhythm, and something terrible happens to me. It's that I shall pass, because of the rhythm, into its paroxysm. I shall pass to the other side of life. How can I tell you this? It's terrible and threatens me. I feel that I can no longer stop, and I'm scared. I try to distract myself from the fear. But the real hammering stopped long ago. I'm being the incessant hammering in me, from which I must free myself. But I can't. The other side of me calls me. The footsteps I hear are my own. As if ripping from the depths of the earth the knotted roots of a rare tree, that's how I write to you. And those roots, as if they were powerful tentacles like voluminous naked bodies of strong women entwined by serpents and by carnal desires for fulfillment. And all this is the prayer of a black mass and a creeping plea for amen. Because the bad is unprotected and needs the approval of God. That is creation. Could I have gone without feeling it to the other side? The other side is a throbbingly hellish life, but there is the transfiguration of my terror. So I give myself over to a heavy life, all in symbols, heavy as ripe fruits. I choose mistaken resemblances, but that drag me through the tangle. A trace memory of the common sense of my past keeps me brushing against this side here. Help me, because something is coming toward me and laughing at me. Quick, save me. But no one can give me their hand to help me out. I must use great strength, and in the nightmare, with a sudden wrench, I finally fall face down on this side here. I let myself lie tossed upon the rustic earth, exhausted, heart still beating madly, breathing in great retchings. Am I safe? I wipe my damp brow. I get up slowly, try to take the first steps of a weak convalescence. I'm managing to get my balance. No, all this isn't happening in real facts, but in the domain of an art? Yes, of an artifice through which a most delicate reality arises, which comes to exist in me. The transfiguration happened to me. But the other side, from which I barely escaped, became sacred, and I confide my secret to no one. It seems to me that in a dream I swore a pledge on the other side, a blood oath. No one will know anything. What I know is so volatile and nearly inexistent that it is between me and I. Am I one of the weak, a weak woman possessed by incessant and mad rhythm? If I was solid and strong, would I even have heard the rhythm? I find no answer. I am. This is all that comes to me from life. But what am I? The answer is just, what am I? Though I sometimes scream, I no longer want to be I, but I stick to myself, and inextricably there forms a tessitura of life. May whoever comes along with me come along. The journey is long, it is tough, but lived. Because now I am speaking to you seriously. I am not playing with words. I incarnate myself in the voluptuous and unintelligible phrases that tangle up beyond the words. And a silence rises subtly from the knock of the phrases. So writing is the method of using the word as bait. The word fished for whatever is not word. When this non-word, between the lines, takes the bait, something has been written. Once whatever is between the lines is caught, the word can be tossed away in relief. But that's where the analogy ends. The non-word, taking the bait, incorporates it. So what saves you is writing absent-mindedly. I don't want to have the terrible limitation of those who live merely from what can make sense. Not I. I want an invented truth. What shall I tell you? I shall tell you the instance. I go too far, and only then do I exist, and in a feverish way. What a fever. Will I one day manage to stop living? Woe is me who dies so much. I follow the tortuous path of roots bursting the earth. I have a gift for passion. In the bonfire of a dry trunk, I contort in the blaze. To the span of my existence, I give an occult meaning that goes beyond me. I am a concomitant being. I gather in me time past, the present, and the future, the time that pulses in the tick-tock of the clocks. To interpret myself and formulate me, I need new signs and new articulations in shapes found on this side and beyond my human story. I transfigure reality, and then another dreaming and sleepwalking reality creates me. And all of me rolls, and as I roll on the ground, I add to myself in leaves. I, anonymous work of an anonymous reality, only justifiable as long as my life lasts. And then all that I lived will be a poor superfluity. But for the time being, I am in the center of everything that screams and teems, and it's subtle as the most intangible reality. For now time is the duration of a thought. This contact with the invisible nucleus of reality is of such purity. I know what I am doing here. I am telling of the instants that drip and are thick with blood. I know what I am doing here. I'm improvising. But what's wrong with that? Improvising as in jazz, the improvised music, jazz in fury, improvising in front of the crowd. It's so odd to have exchanged my paints for this strange thing that is the word. Words. I move cautiously among them, as they can turn threatening. I can have the freedom to write this. Pilgrims, merchants, and shepherds led their caravans toward Tibet, and the roads were difficult and primitive. With that phrase, I made a scene be born, as in a photographic flash. What does this jazz that is improvisation say? It says arms tangled with legs, and the flames rising, and I passive like meat that is devoured by the sharp hook of an eagle that interrupts its blind flight. I express to me and to you my most hidden desires, and achieve an orgiastic, confused beauty. I tremble with pleasure amidst the novelty of using words that form an intense thicket. I struggle to conquer more deeply my freedom of sensations and thoughts without any utilitarian meaning. I am alone, I and my freedom. Such is my freedom that it could scandalize a primitive, but I know that you are not scandalized by the fullness I achieve, and that is without perceptible borders. This capacity of mine to live whatever is rounded and ample. I surround myself with carnivorous plants and legendary animals, all bathed in the coarse and twisted oblique light of a mythical sex. I proceed in an intuitive way, and without seeking an idea. I am organic. And I don't question myself about my motives. I plunge into the almost pain of an intense happiness. And to adorn me, leaves and branches spring up in my hair. I don't know what I'm writing about. I am obscure to myself. I only had initially a lunar and lucid vision, and so I plucked for myself the instant before it died, and perpetually dies. This is not a message of ideas that I am transmitting to you, but an instinctive ecstasy of whatever is hidden in nature and that I foretell. And this is a feast of words. I write in signs that are more a gesture than voice. All this is what I got used to painting, delving into the intimate nature of things. But now the time to stop painting has come in order to remake myself. I remake myself in these lines. I have a voice. As I throw myself into the line of my drawing, this is an exercise in life without planning. The world has no visible order, and all I have is the order of my breath. I let myself happen. I am inside the great dreams of the night, for the right now is by night, and I sing the passage of time. I am still the queen of the Medes and of the Persians, and am also my slow evolution that throws itself like a drawbridge into a future whose milky fogs I already breathe today. My aura is mystery of life. I surpass myself, abdicating myself, and am therefore the world. I follow the voice of the world. I myself suddenly with a unique voice. The world, a tangle of bristling telephone wires, and the brightness, however, is still dark. That is I facing the world. A dangerous balance, mine, mortal danger for the soul. The night of today looks at me with torpor, verdigris, and lime. I want inside this night that is longer than life. I want inside this night life raw and bloody and full of saliva. I want this word, splendidness. Splendidness is the fruit in its succulence, fruit without sadness. I want distances, my wild intuition about myself. But my main thing is always hidden. I am implicit. And when I make myself explicit, I lose the humid intimacy. What color is the spatial infinity? It is the color of air. We, faced with the scandal of death.